share it now. Right. Oh.
Well, hello, and welcome to I'm Right. The show will be starting in just about a minute. But if you are new to Fireside or watching this in replay, you don't have to listen to this part. You can fast forward past it if you're listening in replay. Tongue-tied today. If you're new to Fireside, there's a couple of things you can do. The emojis that are across the bottom, which is clap and laugh and party sounds, you can hit those at any time during the show, and we will hear them, which is cool. That is really cool. But if you want to send a comment or something like that, or type a question, you can hit the react button and choose an emoji, and then Jill is telling me stuff here. And then you can type your response or your question and press send, and we will receive it. So the show will be starting in just a moment.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings, and welcome to
I'm Right.
I'm Right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I am Anthony Cordova, don't you know
everybody.
it?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We'd like to welcome John. How are you, John? Shaka is here. Hi, Shaka.
Is here. Hello, Shaka.
Hi.
It is so good that you're here.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Hi, Connie and Ronaldo. Hi,
cool.
Todd. Long time no see. And
That is
Stefan.
true. This time they get to see me.
That's right.
You know, this has been such a hectic day. We were in Studio 3 for your show.
I keep forgetting to say
Jill.
that's
Yes.
where I am.
Yes.
I don't know
were in
where I am half the
Studio
time.
3, and I don't know where the time went, but we had to rush over here to Studio 1,
Yep.
which is actually just down a flight of stairs. But we did it, and we were getting ready for our special, amazing guest.
Yes.
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 Well, I think we should in case you haven't read the description for tonight's show, we're doing something different.
Doing something completely
Yes, we
different.
have never done this before on our show.
This is a first.
This is a first.
Everyone that's
Historic.
here is going to see a first.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
And I think they're going to replay this episode like crazy, like insane.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
which would
think
be
so.
so cool. So cool.
So what we're doing for the first time, Tony and I have been interviewed quite a bit lately.
Yes, it seems
in
that
the-
people like us. They like us, Jill. They really like us.
so we're being interviewed, but what's
But
different is that the person is conducting the interview on this show.
on our show,
Yes.
we are turning the reins over to someone else in our show. But you know, in journalism, that's like just as bad as giving someone your
letting
mic.
someone have your mic.
Yeah, never let someone have your mic, because then it's hard to control anything.
But I think this is a great situation.
I think so. I think so. I really do.
So I'm going to
This is gonna, I should have got a lounge chair.
a
for this one.
lounge chair.
Yeah, something, so I could just sit.
Oh, I made
so I
myself
could
come up.
just sit.
Sorry.
Oh, well, we're seeing you like twice, Jill. Get out of here.
I know, right?
Oh Lord, there. Welcome
hit
to
the wrong
live. This is what happens.
You'll see what I was
live.
trying to do in a moment.
Okay, all right.
Technology
that's
has
cool.
not been my friend. There she
That's
is.
cool.
That's who I was trying to
There
bring
she
up.
is.
This fabulous person is named Aaliyah Naomi McConnell, and she's a freelance writer. She's also a podcast producer and a
Oh.
mental health advocate, which I'm really
Ooh.
impressed by, because she's a graduating senior from Kennesaw State University.
Yes.
And of course, her major's in journalism and
Yes,
emerging
of course,
emerging
right? Of
media.
course. Of course.
But she has this.
Yeah,
I really
okay.
would like to ask her a couple of questions before we turn it over, because she has a blog and newsletter that she calls Little Mental Sky. And some people
Little
might
mental
know where
sky.
that term comes from, but we'll let Aaliyah tell us. Welcome, Aaliyah. Everybody, welcome
Please
Aaliyah.
give her a round of applause.
Give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
So we're happy that you're here. And my question is, I have a lot of questions, but I'll refrain from asking all of them. Yay!
Woo! See,
woohoo!
you are loved, Aaliyah.
Is what sparked your interest in journalism? And then I definitely want to know how you became a mental health advocate.
Yes. So the journalism journey that started with me kind of not knowing what direction I wanted to go as far as school and as far as career went. But as I kind of grew and started discovering myself more, I learned that I love to tell people stories, especially stories of marginalized people whose voices are often going unheard, and specifically from the perspective of a Black woman. So that's why I started doing journalism. I wanted to equip myself with the skills and the knowledge and the use of technology in order to tell those stories and create a package to where they could be received to people all over the world. But yeah.
So you want to be a
like-
multimedia journalist then, and tell your stories in print, in video, and audio?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Ooh.
And then
Ooh, wow.
second part of that question, how did I become a mental health advocate? Well, that is more of it's more of a stormy kind of story, because we're all human at the end of the day, and we go through our own issues. My issues were not knowing how to express myself and not knowing how to identify boundaries and identify ways of communicating that was effective and coping mechanisms that were effective. So I started going to therapy, and it completely changed my life. And I was like, where has this been my whole life? But of course, if you are growing up in the Black community, the topic of mental health and going to therapy, people are going to be like, oh, are you crazy? Like, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it really benefited me in my life, and I want to spread the word of that, and I want as many people to have access to that and know that it's a beneficial service that's out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
This is cool.
Well, audience, we're going to turn this over to Aaliyah because she actually asked us to talk about Black love tonight. But at the end, we're going to leave some time for you, audience, to ask Aaliyah questions or comment afterwards. And you know, even if it's to tell her what a fabulous job she did interviewing us.
Jill, I think I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
I'm
You'd
nervous.
never get nervous.
I'm nervous being interviewed on our own show. I'm really nervous.
You shouldn't be. I've interviewed you on our show.
Yeah, you did, but that was you.
That's true. That's true.
You're
Bring
biased.
it. Bring it, Aaliyah. Ask him all the hard questions.
Alrighty. So yes, we're talking about Black love. It's gonna be a very this is a juicy topic right here. I can't wait. So, and these questions are gonna go to both of you. So feel free to answer it as freely as you want. And if you don't want to answer, yeah, we can pass it. But
I ain't answering nothing. I'm letting
He's
you
probably
know
going to answer
right
all
now,
of them.
I ain't answering nothing. Just zip. All right, no, really,
We got
ready.
you.
We're ready.
We're ready.
All right. So my first question, we're just gonna dive right into it now. So have both of you always intended on marrying someone within the race? So someone Black or African American, and why? Why was that important to you?
Well, I will. I think. Can I start first?
Sure.
Because I'll probably forget what the question is if Jill goes first. So, really, yeah, that's just who I am. I forget everything. But really, when I was young, let's say a teenager, young teenager, I would thought that if I ever got married, that I would only marry a Black woman or Hispanic woman because my last name is Cordova. Um, but as I got older, even after my first marriage, that thought process changed. And what I would tell people is that one thing you need to know about me, if you see me married to a white woman, it's because I truly love her. It is not because I'm trying to make myself feel better, because maybe I felt less than, but no, that is not the case. I would truly would be in love with this woman. So I wouldn't seek uh, a white woman to marry. I wouldn't seek her out. But if I met her and she was the right one, yeah, I would definitely marry a white woman. But I would prefer to be married to a Black woman because she would really understand my life and what I've been through. So, did I answer that question?
Yes, sir.
Cool. One for Tony.
One for Tony. All right, I'm going to even the score here. My answer is very similar. I went to undergrad in Minnesota, and at my college, you know, like, well, actually in the whole state, there were very few people of color anywhere. And so I was on the debate team and we traveled a lot. And so I thought from that experience that I was open, I realized I was to love, open to love and open to loving anyone, no matter their race. But when I graduated and left the state, I went to Chicago. My mic keeps moving. So,
Don't move, Jill.
It's kind of like weird.
Don't. You're a
And so
professional. You're not
I
supposed
know,
to
but that
notice
was
that.
funny. I realized that everyone I was dating, or the only people who would ask me out, were Black. So I figured if I ever got married, it would be to a Black man. And then
And then you married me.
my marriage to
Who
Tony
knows
is
what
not
I
my
am?
is not my first marriage. And so after my divorce in my first marriage, and I was married to a Black man, I thought I'm not marrying anybody. I'm just gonna hang out. I'll never get married again. Um, and I just hang out with people. But obviously Tony changed that. But the running joke is that sometimes, especially my mother will tell him he looks like a white man. That's what she'll tell him sometimes.
I'm not a white
But
man.
he's
I
not.
guarantee I am not a white man. They sure don't treat me like a white man when they accuse me of stealing something.
That's right. That's right.
Come on now, keep a straight face, Aaliyah. You are the professional here.
You're right.
She like, she like ooh, they throwing me off. What the heck? I didn't think this
So
was gonna be
stop
fun.
throwing her off.
No, this is supposed to be fun. Come on. All right, we're ready.
All right. So with that said, what do you all think are some of the common struggles of maintaining Black love, and um, why do you think some Black marriages fail, and how do you all maintain a successful marriage right now?
Communication is always key to any relationship. If you don't have that, you're just not going to make it. But you're not going to have trust. You have to have those, no matter
Mhm.
what your race is. So that's the key to the success of our marriage. As far as struggles go, I think even with this podcast, some friends of ours who work in marketing were like, there aren't very many podcasts where a Black couple can talk about relationships without, being like the reality show version of a podcast, right? Because even though we call the show I'm Right, we don't argue. we we might disagree, but
Yeah.
you're not going to see that conflict, because we in real life, this is how we talk to each other.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That is true.
but we have noticed that sometimes with our show, or sometimes with our relationship, people automatically judge you, and when we talk about the tough topics like racism, um, listeners or watchers may not join us because they don't want to hear it.
That is true.
Mhm.
That is true. And like I said, I'm going to ask you to repeat the question.
It's success of our marriage, Black struggles for Black love.
I asked Aaliyah.
I'm
You're
helping.
taking over.
Yes. So, yeah, what Jill said. So how
What
do you?
Jill said. Well, I'll start with successful marriage, which is the same thing that Jill said. Communication. Very early in our relationship, and some of the viewers have heard this story that I'm going to tell. But early on in our relationship, when we were still dating, I I made fun of something that Jill had created, um, and I didn't realize it was going to really upset her, right? And she withdrew. I mean, it was like she just flipped the switch. She withdrew. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. And I had to stop her. I said, "Look, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't realize that would upset you. So I apologize for that. But you know, we have to be able to talk about issues, whether I upset you or you upset me. We can't shut down. We have to continue to talk to each other. And that was like the first hurdle in our relationship. And we've been fine ever since, you know. But, you know, for me, that was a deal breaker. You know, if she continued to shut down, I'd be like, nope, I can't do this. I can't be in a relationship without real conversation when there's a issue. So we always know that when there's a issue, we can talk about it, which
Mm,
is fantastic.
it
And
is.
that really changes everything. And now I didn't learn this, like I wasn't born this way. It took me a long time to get to this point, you know. And at that time, what was I, in my 40s? Yeah. Yeah. So it took that long. You know, I was making all types of mistakes uh, until then, like on a regular, all kinds of mistakes. Um, so what was the next part? Do I need a next part? I got plenty. You know,
I
I can
mean,
go on for.
we
Did I cover it? I covered
we-
some of it.
yeah,
I
you covered
know.
some of it. I think the second part of that was the struggles of maintaining Black love, but you kind of touched on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Yeah.
I do want to put a special message out. I want to add to that, um, because unfortunately, as black men, as we are, um, most of our lives, whether it was our teachers or whether it was a officer of the law, there were people putting us down just for being black, period. And that can weigh really hard on a person. You know, you're being put down your whole life. So, as black men, when we get in our homes and our relationships, sometimes we might feel like we have to, I don't, let's say we have to be the king of our castle. So out in the world, they knock me down every day and I have to keep my mouth shut. This is how some of us may think. So at home, I'm going to be boss. And I'm thinking, no, that's not how I think. I'm saying
It's like,
that is how many men of color think because we're being beaten down all the time. So what I'm getting at is we need to remember that we don't want to treat the person we love the same way we get treated in the street.
right. You have to
We don't
respect
need
each
that.
other.
We truly do have to respect each other and value each other.
Right.
I
And hold each other up. If, you
yeah,
know, the,
I always look at a situation of, would I want someone to do that to me? Uh,
Mhm.
And I don't. And I think about that all the time with what I say, with what I do. You know, just being a man that keeps his word, to take care of my family, and do what I say I'm going to do, and don't do what I say I'm not going to do. So that's all I
Okay.
got on that.
Okay, that's growth right there. All right. So I'm glad you all brought up I'm glad you brought up the situation that happened earlier in your marriage or you I get it, Jill. I'm creative. So people talk about my stuff. I get it. So I guess when you first got married, did you feel like getting married enhanced the relationship or Did you feel at some points that it did put a wedge between you now that you had made the commitment, or is it both? Do both things exist at the same time?
Never put a wedge between us. I mean, never at all. Um, Actually being married, because some people might say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You can just live together and all of that," and maybe that is so for a lot of people, but it's not that way for me.
Mhm.
I want to know that the woman I'm with committed to me, that's in my corner. I want to know that one day, she might get pissed off and I'm out. I'm out. You been pissed me off. You done left your underwear on the floor too long and I'm out. And but with the commitment of marriage, a person might think, hey, I really love this person. I plan to be there for them. I want Jill to be my rock. I don't want Jill to make me better. I don't want to say I'm complete because we're married, because I respect her for who she is and her intelligence. So I don't need her to complete me. I need her to enhance my life. And when I say enhance my life, I'm not actually, just talking about financially. I'm talking about mentally. In that case, I want to learn from my wife. I want to grow with my wife. And as I grow, I'm not going to cut out. I'm not like, oh, I got all the knowledge I want. I'm going to go get somebody better now. Shoot, I'm smart now. No, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay because no one else is in my corner like Jill. I'm not going anywhere. We have a big joke, and ever so often we'll say to each other, "Baby, I ain't never gonna leave you. I ain't never gonna leave you, baby. So
Yes,
that's about it.
it's not even a thought to leave each other. And I do believe that when we got married, that it enhanced our bond. Like,
Absolutely.
although we had that, I feel like since we talked about deal breakers and we were close before our marriage, I feel like, um, you know, it was good to start with,
Yeah, yeah, it
but it
was.
just keeps getting better and better. We've been married 16 and a half years now, and it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, and let me add to that. So when we were dating, and I had already known that Jill was marriage material. Okay. I already knew that.
Even though
But
I was thinking
early
I'm never getting
on,
married again.
early on, but
Uh-huh.
uh I had I had to learn to slow down because I probably would have asked her to marry me after 2 months. But I
Mhm.
had to I had to learn to slow down. So I knew there was a conversation Jill and I had to have, which is, does she want any children? And Jill doesn't have any children. I've been married before. I have children. They were teenager. One was a teenager and the other one was in her 20s when we met. I didn't want any kids. I, I didn't. I did not. I knew I did not want any more
I was gonna
children.
say, you used
Yeah,
to say
let me,
more.
yes. I didn't want any more children. So, you know, um, I told Jill, I said, you know what? You don't have any children. I do. I said, the way I feel right now, I don't think I want any more children. And she said, well, I don't want any either. I said, well, look, let's take a week. We'll take a week. We won't speak to each other. We won't have phone conversations, emails, texts, anything. And let's think about that. Really, I will think about if I am willing to have more children, and that she should think about whether she might actually want to have children, which is a scary thing because if after the week I decided I still don't want children, any more children, and after that week, if she decided, well, yeah, maybe I do want one, that was a deal breaker. And we would have had to break up. As much as I didn't want to lose her, we would have had to break up because if she said I want to have children and I said, well, okay, but I wasn't really feeling it. That's not how I really felt. And I just went along. In the back of my mind, I would always be saying, I didn't want any more children. Why why am I working this hard? Why am I, changing diapers? Why am I doing this? Why do I have to put another child through college? And I would be like 60 something, by the time the child was ready to go to college. And I just knew that I couldn't do it again. So that would have been a deal breaker. But both of us were willing to take that chance. So obviously we both had the right answers. So
Right, right.
then we
And
got married.
and even though I didn't want to give birth to a child, I feel like I still gained um, a family because his children have children, and so even though we still don't do diapers,
Yeah.
we love our grandchildren dearly, and I feel fortunate that I can call them my grandchildren. So I feel fortunate.
Okay, that's
Cool.
wonderful. That's good.
You don't even
Um,
have to answer now, Jill. I covered it all. You-
Well, I'm still gonna let you go first because you forget the question, like you said. So,
yes.
All right, you're on, Jill.
Okay. So I guess
You never did answer that question.
sure, I did. She's going. She's
Okay,
better
all
move on.
right. I'm right.
I'm going on to a new question. We going.
Oh, I'm moving on. Y'all do your thing, but I'm moving on to the next question. Okay, that's cool.
So, what do you think about this? The generation coming up now, and what do you think marriage will look like in the future, or dating prospects for the young adults and people my age, like who are 20 somethings and through like 35? Um, it's a whole new landscape. So, what do you think? How do you think we kind of relate to the idea of marriage now, and what do you think it would be like in the future, and what are some of the what do you I guess this part I'll direct towards Jill, because specifically for Black women, how do you think that dating prospects will look for them moving forward?
Well, my friends that I've known for decades, I'm one of the few who is married, who has ever been married. So because they're really intelligent, successful Black women, these friends, and men are intimidated by them. So they're all single, have always been single. So I think that whoever their partners are, and not necessarily just men, um, I think that people have to really learn what love is. I feel that because so many things are done through technology, it's really hard to get to know the real person because you can hide behind a phone or a computer. And then if you do see each other in person, you can be somebody else or pretend to be. So I think it's actually I'm not optimistic about especially Black women finding mates to marry because it's so much harder to just meet people. It's hard to make friends even, and meet people. So my hope is that people just, stop for a moment and really want to get to know each other instead of worrying about what somebody looks like on Instagram or what somebody ate today or where they went or pretended to go to. All of that. So I think that it's not hard though. Love is not hard to do if you just open yourself up to that. But I do think that your generation, I do think they're smarter. Um, and that, they understand that there are catfish out there. They understand that there are scammers out there. They get that, so I don't think they're as blindsided as maybe my generation was at that age. Um, so I just hope that people just set out on a quest to love each other. We're spending so much time in the last years with hatred dividing us all, but it's just so much easier to love people. So if we just open ourselves up and focus on that, I think then everybody, if they want to, can find someone to marry. But I do think that it starts with self, because to be a good partner for someone else, you've got to love yourself first, and I think that's really missing right now.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with all of that. And
Thanks.
I would like to add a little bit,
Uh-huh.
which is that I have noticed that the young men um, are a lot more in touch with their emotions than people of my generation,
That's true.
and I believe that's a excellent thing.
That's true.
The only thing that is lacking is the human connection. So it is very important that we meet people face to face so we can actually feel them. We can actually
Feel their
look at them
vibe.
vibe, look at them close and see how we interact and all of that. And there are some very easy ways to do that. Um, maybe you join a team, some type of co-ed team, pickleball, something where you have to actually physically interact with people. Okay. And it makes it easier to make that connection. You already have something in common because you're involved in this same event, and whatever it is you like. You may be a musician that's been playing the guitar in your bedroom from age 6 to 26. You might be a great guitarist, but you have
Nobody
had no
knows.
interaction with people.
Nobody knows.
So, yeah, maybe it's time to get in a band. Maybe it's time to do some performances out. You will meet many people face to face. It may feel awkward in the beginning, but the more people you meet, the easier it gets to just interact with people. I've heard so many times where someone younger will ask the question, how do you talk to someone face to face that you have never seen before? That insecurity is there. Will they like me? Will they not? Will they shoot me down? Will they not? And in and actually, I was going to say in men's cases, but it's actually in anyone's case. Start doing it. Yeah, you're gonna. Some aren't gonna work. Some are gonna go really bad. You're gonna get rejected like over and over again. But after a while, it doesn't bother you. You're used to it. Yeah, hey,
And
well,
you're
no,
probably
gee,
probably better at it
yeah,
with
you're better
interacting.
at it. So you have to get practice. If you don't ever practice, speaking to strangers, meeting them, but sometimes when you're in person, you will see someone else across the room and you be like, oh my
Oh
God.
my goodness. I'm
Oh,
glad that never happened with us. Oh my
I
gosh.
have got to
Oh
talk to
my
them.
goodness.
But if you don't have any confidence,
Mm.
it's not going to go well unless that person just likes a person that has no confidence. So you have to learn how to be confident in speaking to anyone,
Well,
anyone. And if it doesn't work, fine. Next.
and that scenario reminds me of anxiety, which is, at all-time high in our country, and other, conditions. But the thing that I'm hopeful about and happy about is that we're finally talking about it openly. We're not hiding behind that. There's, I guess, for some people there's still a stigma, but less so. And I think as long as we keep talking about mental health, then it won't be a it will be the norm, just like a physical condition is. And so I'm happy about that. And I think that will help people in their relationships as well.
Yeah, yeah. I actually have something to add to that myself.
All right.
I know that I had crippling anxiety, especially when it came to relationships. I was definitely a late bloomer, and like, don't even try to talk to me because I was just so awkward. But it took time. It took time, and I have to say that going to therapy and just regularly speaking to somebody who's just like was just there to listen. It definitely helped me be able to open up in the real world and talk to actual people.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, it
Yes.
makes
Yes,
a
it does.
difference.
It does make a difference.
When
And you
I
said something key too. Sorry. She said listening. Listening is
Yes.
a great skill to have too.
And people still don't believe this, but when I was a child, I was very shy. I was very quiet, very reserved. I didn't really get over that, and I'm still kind of a loner type person, believe it or not. We didn't even
Nobody
want we
believes
didn't
you.
even want to have a podcast. We didn't want to have a podcast. We don't want to have a vodcast. We didn't want any
Who
of
didn't
that.
want to have a podcast?
We didn't.
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
He did.
But what happened was
What had happened was
that when I was a child, one of my hobbies, and Jill's gonna say I'm a geek, but I'm not a geek. But one of my hobbies was talking on the CB radio and electronics and all of that kind of stuff. So being on the CB radio, I learned to speak to people. I learned not to be shy. So ever since then, I would speak to people all over town that I didn't know towns, that might have been 10 miles away, and I overcame the fear of speaking to strangers, someone I didn't know. So the transition to speaking to someone in person for me wasn't a problem after that. So again, I did something that pushed me into a situation where I would just talk to people, and that helped immensely. Go. So
Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. So now I'm gonna get into ask you some questions about something that's going around that's been in the air a lot. We're gonna talk about like masculinity versus femininity, especially when it comes as it pertains to dating. So there's the notion that's like sweeping through that stratosphere that's specifically Black women that our dating standards are too high. So
Who is clapping? What?
Who is doing
All
that?
right, John and Stefan.
look at this.
Okay, I see y'all.
okay.
Doggone audience. Doggone audience.
So yeah, what do y'all think about that?
No.
Go ahead. Go you first, Jill.
Everybody needs to have standards And I don't think that Black women specifically, I don't think they have high standards. It's just that, we've been talked about, we've been insulted, we've been compared to animals, we've been um, just objectified, we've been harassed. And, I hate the trope angry Black woman, but we have reason to be angry. you know but in relationships, I don't think that, thank you, I don't think that we're asking for too much. I think we're just asking, for the right person. Like, how hard is that? I the standards are not too high, they're just right.
And
And Stefan says amen, but I'm not sure to which part.
you know
So
he loves
Stefan,
he loves and lifts up our Black women.
he does.
You know that about
I do know that
Stefan.
about him.
So actually, this gets back into what I was saying earlier about uh, some Black men, not all. But actually, this can go. It doesn't have to be men. It could be women. It could be trans. It doesn't matter. Sometimes people are insecure, and these are also the same people that don't want anyone to know they're insecure. Okay, so they're hiding it. They're trying to keep it from
But
the
most of
public.
them don't hide it very well.
Well, a smart woman can see that. An intelligent woman can see that. Anyway, so it's a little threatening for them. In my case, and our viewers know I say this, have said it, is that I really admire and love intelligent Black women. I will lift them up every chance I get, because intelligence is intelligence, no matter whether it comes from a male or female, trans, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. Intelligence is intelligence. And we need to learn how to prop up anyone that's in our culture because of their intelligence, because of what they can help us do, because of what they can help us accomplish. Okay, we should never put them down, put them away. And I'm not saying every person that's intelligent is perfect. Absolutely not. They're not. But there are more Black women highly educated than anyone else in this country. Black women.
Because we've had to do that just to get jobs that we're overqualified for.
That is exactly right. But I don't take anything. I actually get really upset when I'm making more money than a woman that has several degrees. I've worked for myself most of my life, but they have so much education and they're so smart, but yet this country is still trying to knock them down. And then we also have just men trying to knock them down. It'd be white men, but it can also be Black men. And Black men should never, ever, ever try to knock down a Black woman because of their intelligence. That just don't make any sense. It don't make no sense. And it happens
all the time.
All the time.
Yep.
So,
but I want to know, what are they saying that Black women want more of that other groups don't when they're dating? But why are our standards so high?
Because they may realize that they're worth more, that they have great self-esteem. when you have great self-esteem, there
But
is
how does
no.
that equate to a higher standard
Well,
than other people who have self-esteem, good
well,
self-esteem?
it's more like they're saying Black women should just be grateful for having anything.
Which is insane.
Kind of like how it is being voiced. I don't even want to say his name, but yeah, everything in the world and everything, the whole manosphere. It's like
It's
Black women are overweight and they're loud, they're boisterous, they're too demanding, and it's all these images, all these stereotypes that are associated, that are being pushed a lot by Black men. There's a lot of misogynoir going on, and they're saying we should just lower our standards, be more complacent.
oh heck no. You getting
Sounds
ready
like-
to get me
well, that-
mad. 'Cause
yeah, that
both
goes- that
of
goes
my
back to-
daughters are very intelligent. And if
Yep.
someone said that to me about my daughters, kiss my ass. You know,
Well, you
really.
would say that if someone said that about me.
I would.
Yeah.
Something else might happen too. But yeah, no, heck,
No. Sounds
Heck
like
no. You
I
know,
call it
and
a little
move
man
on.
syndrome. They're trying to overcompensate of what they don't have by trying to project that on other people.
There's something I say all the time. You truly need to be happy with yourself.
Mhm.
And once you
And if
get
you're
to
not,
that
don't make
point-
it my problem.
Yeah. Once you are truly happy with yourself, you don't need anyone else. It doesn't matter whether you're gay, lesbian, it doesn't matter. When you become happy with yourself, you don't drop your standards. You don't
Mm-mm.
have to. You don't have to belittle yourself, dumb yourself down. That's insane.
Hmm.
That is insane. Can you imagine if I were to dumb myself down to try to be with you, Jill? It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. You know, I used to be an architectural draftsman. Then I was a business owner in trucking for so many years. I went to trade school when I got out of high school. But Jill is highly educated with many degrees, and sometimes people look at me and they say, "What? He had a trucking business. He had this. I've had several businesses," and they immediately assume that I'm not that smart because I don't have as many degrees as Jill.
And I'm like, do you think I would be with a dumb man? No.
Exactly. I'm like, wait, Jill is very
No.
intelligent. Do you think she would choose a man that was dumb as a rock?
Nope.
It ain't gonna happen. So, people underestimate me all the time. All the time. But, I couldn't have done all the things I have done in my life if I didn't have some type of smarts. I couldn't be with Jill if I wasn't intelligent. It's no way in the world. Unless she just wanted somebody to keep the bed warm at night. Was that it, Jill?
No.
All right, I'm
That's
just
not
checking.
it.
I'm just checking.
That wasn't it.
I may be confused. I'm like, oh, Jill loves me for my mind, but instead she just wants a bed warmer.
No. So, Jill, did you have any? Have you ever had any experiences, or know anybody who've had any experience being, being in the industry that you're in and being in a high level position, when it comes to dating and everything? Have you had people try to tell you to lower your standards, or?
Oh, yes, I have. In fact, that's why I have one divorce under my belt, because my husband told me
Not
to
this
lower,
one.
not
Not
this
this
one,
one. Mm-mm.
told me to lower my standards and stop talking about my success with him. So I'm like, and I was like, or what? He's like, or leave. I left, but from other reasons too. But that gets into our whole ultimatum show. but yes, I see it all the time. In well, maybe not in the workplace I have now because it's remote, but when I had to go into the office, you saw it all the time of people. Um, well, in the workplace, you see how they're belittled. You know that you see women have these great ideas. If you're in a meeting, in a brainstorming meeting, and black women have great ideas, and then somebody else is going to try to take the credit for it. I saw it all the time. And it happened to me many times. And then in the dating world, my friends will tell me about, how someone that they thought were at their level because on paper they had very similar experiences and background. But in reality, to get back to what Tony said earlier, the person they were out on a date with was very insecure. So they wanted to belittle them to make themselves feel better and to pump themselves up, but, they're all alone because of that. Like you just leave them because, and if that's a black woman having a higher standard that they're not going to let someone talk to them like that or belittle them, then hooray for high standards.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna actually move on to my last question here.
Okay.
You actually got to a last question. I bet you shortened your list a little bit.
She's watching the time. She told us she was.
Kudos for you. You are watching the time. Cool. This is great.
So, what do you wish more people would understand about Black love, and what do you have to say personally about your experience being in your marriage?
Well, I almost have a problem with that phrase, Black love. Love is love.
You said what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, though.
I did it first. I said it first. No, love is truly love. It doesn't matter who it's with. Love is love. And if you love someone, if you truly love someone, you're going to know how to treat them with respect and hopefully some admiration because of who they are. You will cherish everything about them. So, Black love isn't Black love like we have to love differently than everyone else in the world. We don't. We just have to love. Just learn how to just love and not bring other crap into it, because that's what messes everything up. But if you can learn how to truly love pure love, no anger in there, no hatred in there, no belittlement in there, respect and love. And that's all you have to do. I don't believe our love is any different than love, period, because we're Black. It somehow is belittling to me to say Black love is different. Black love is not different. Love is love. We just need to learn how to respect each other.
I have a slightly different take on that. I do believe that love is love. But I think that Black people have maybe a harder time of loving themselves because the whole world tells them they're less than, and the whole world tells them they're unlovable. And so they have to deal with that on a daily basis, no matter where they go globally. They have to deal with that. So when you're starting from a place of you don't love yourself, it is hard to be in love and have someone love you or believe that someone loves you. All of that, So so on one hand, I agree with you that love is love.
I agree with her.
That love is love. On the other hand, I think you have to start for Black love to happen. You have to start with loving or learning to love yourself. Yeah. Then you can be open and accepting of the love that comes your way. Yeah. And what you said reminds me of movies where people were surprised that movies that they called quiet and slow that had featured black characters. I want to say, have you seen the movie? I think it was called The Photograph. It had Issa Rae in it, and it was a beautiful love story. And the characters in there were all successful black people. And like every story, every movie, every book has conflict in it, but theirs was subtle. So no one shot up each other, none of that. And people were like, "Is that what Black love is about?" They were surprised, and it's like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, black people can
we
love
can
and
love
just
each other
be
like that.
happy and no drama.
Like we
Just
don't have to have the real drama, to love. So, in that regard, I hope more people see that version of Black love and understand that that's real. That's more real than the shoot 'em
mhm.
ups and you know, um, you know, movies like Set It Off?
Set it off.
Set Yeah,
You
like
talking about set it
well,
off?
at the end where everybody, like
Dies?
yeah. People think that that's more indicative of
Oh,
black
okay.
people
Uh,
and or like
okay.
Queen and Slim, things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
People think that that's more indicative, and
Like the
that's
ride
not.
or
That's
die
the
relationship.
exception.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, black love is like boring. Nobody wants to hear about black love. It's boring.
so I hope that people understand that yes, we don't, like the great relationships, they don't have drama like that. They don't. They may have conflict, but they also have the capability of resolving it and loving without knocking each other out or
Yeah,
killing each
because
other.
Jill, I guarantee you, if I get pissed off at you, I am not gonna burn your car up. Ain't no doggone way.
Well, I know. I won't. I don't play with fire.
I ain't doing it. No way. It's-
Well, this
uh-uh.
this has been a wonderful conversation. I want to ask the audience if you would. Well, first of all, let's all give applause to Aaliyah.
Hey, Aaliyah did a
Fantastic
great
job. Fantastic job. You were definitely an excellent journalist. Love it, love it, love it. So, Stefan, John, Connie, Todd, and Shaka, does anyone want to say anything to Aaliyah or to us?
Well, if they don't, I have a question.
Okay, well, you ask while we're waiting.
Okay, well, while we're waiting, I want to ask you something. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Ooh. Okay.
I have a show that I do every
Oh.
other Saturday.
Oh, he really is going to put you
evening.
on the spot, girl.
And you have probably done your research, but it's called Poetic People Fighting
He has done her
Racism.
research.
Okay. And I think you would be a perfect guest
You would be.
for that show. But I'm going to be asking the questions in that show.
Okay.
And are you a poet?
Mm.
Oh, yes, you are.
That's a good question because I used to write a lot of music. So the reason why I got into podcasting is because I've always wanted to be a musician. I could always write lyrics. I've been teaching myself guitar, drums, keyboards, and all that, like audio engineering, all that. I was ready, but I
Ah.
cannot sing.
Okay, well, that's okay.
But I create lyrics, I write songs, and I like to write a lot. I just haven't done it in a while, so I don't call myself a poet, but I've dabbled.
Could you speak your lyrics instead of singing them, like a spoken word artist?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, cool. We're good then. We're good. So, but the show is not only for poets. It's for anyone that has some type of talent. So, like you actually checked off a lot of the boxes. If you're a musician, you can just play something that represents how you feel about racism in this country, or you just might want to express a positive aspect of us moving forward and making steps forward, and anything you wish. But you're welcome to do whatever it is you wish. That's what that platform is for. So, and to discuss racism in this country and the caste system, actually, also. So, I would love to have you there as a guest.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. Then we'll get together on that.
I'll reach out to
Cool.
you with details about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It probably won't be till like 2023, right? I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, because you
yeah.
already
Probably
planned your last
2023.
show for the year.
Yeah.
Stefan,
Cool.
you
Thank
are
you.
on the stage.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Would you
Hi,
like to go to
Stefan.
video?
No
Okay.
video. I would love for Aaliyah to be on my show as
Oh, wait
well.
a
Look at
minute. Wait a
that.
minute.
Well, I
Look
guess
at
I'm having
that.
an
You
invite.
can't come in here like that. What the
She
Um,
could
heck?
get as many invitations as she wants. All right.
Oh,
So
God,
Aaliyah
Stefan.
was in your Stefan, I don't know if you ever looked to see who was in your
you know I
audience
don't look at
tonight.
my audience.
That's right. That's
Aaliyah
right.
was in there for a little while when I was.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
tell her
we
what
have
you would
some
like,
things to
Stefan.
talk about these high standards. That was me doing all the clapping, by the way.
I know. I saw that.
I was like, we need to have some conversations.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
And
I'm not going to disown you because of that. Don't worry. I still love you, Stefan.
And tell her when your show is, Stefan.
So I do a show every Wednesday and Friday, just because the way that my schedule works, because I'm in the government system. So next week is
That sounds like you're in prison.
Or a spy, one of the two.
I'm in the government system. Oh man, you gotta come better than that. I'm in the government system. All right, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Continue,
So
Stefan. Ignore him.
okay,
Continue.
fine. I'll rephrase. I'm a government servant, is what people tell me
Okay.
at work.
Okay,
So
that's much better.
but yeah, so yeah, I have a show called The Conversation, and you can check out the other shows, but I would love to have you on mine as well.
Okay.
And
Since we're
his
just
is
throwing
at
out invites.
7 Eastern.
Okay. 7
Or-
Eastern.
So I'll put you, Stefan, I'll give you, is it okay, Aaliyah, that I give Stefan your information?
Yeah, of course.
And actually in the, what do you call that? Fortune cookie. It has how to reach her as well. I don't know if you saw that, Stefan, but either way, I'll give you her, I'll tell you how to reach her.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
Honor.
Mhm. Who else would like Aaliyah on their show?
See how popular you are.
You
Aaliyah?
are.
So there are two men that appreciate your brain and your talent, and we recognize that, and we want to lift you up. We want to show the world who you are, and people need to learn to accept it.
That's right. And you should show your professors and your classmates this video
Yeah,
as
you
well.
like, yeah,
Tell them
I'm
show them how
taking-
you did.
Like, I got
And
two
yes,
men.
you did.
That's right.
You
That's right.
did an excellent job.
You really did, seriously. And I don't say that a lot about aspiring journalists because I was a journalist for 2 decades. But really,
You did an excellent
have
job.
you
There-
have
there-
all the traits.
There was this other guy that interviewed us. He did not do a good job. He did not do a good job.
So we did. So we did, and you, because you're a journalist, you would understand this. We just started asking him all the questions. We totally turned it and I don't think he realized that he had stopped asking questions. I don't think he realized it.
Oh, okay.
That was good. That kept it fun.
It kept it fun
Yeah.
for us
Yeah,
anyway.
it did. It did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all were definitely very fun to talk to.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself because we definitely
We
enjoyed
did.
having you here.
Yeah, because we were pretty whipped before we started.
Yeah, but
this
you
show.
you
But
totally
now we're
energized
good.
us. You really
I'm ready
did.
to hang.
Y-
I mean, go
Yeah,
out
me
dancing
too.
or something.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that thought will last for like
I
20
know for
minutes.
yeah.
I'll be like, it's time to go to bed. I'm tired. It's time to go to bed.
So again, thank you, Aaliyah, for being our guest tonight and for doing all the hard work tonight. You asked us the
Yeah,
questions,
that
and
was-
they were
that was
really
pretty
great
cool.
questions. So we really appreciate that.
You set the bar
You
high.
you really did.
We
You
probably
really
won't
did.
let anybody do
Well,
this
yeah,
again.
yeah, well, we'll like send them this video. Can you top this? Because if not, no. So Stefan, I'll give you Aaliyah's information.
Perfect,
We'll
thank
be in
you.
touch about Tony's show next week. Hey, everybody! Next week is your birthday.
Oh, it is.
Next Wednesday is the episode where we're celebrating Tony's birthday.
Yeah. My birthday is going to be on this show.
Yep.
What
So-
are we doing? You getting me a birthday cake or something? We could.
Nope. People are just gonna say happy birthday, and I invited them to roast you as well.
You did not.
I did.
You did.
Read the description. See, I can say anything in the
Hey.
description because he'll never
Hey,
read it.
But,
So
Aaliyah, let me let you know something. We did one show where Jill was on the show, but she wasn't on video, and the viewers turned on me. It was a roast. Where's Jill? Where's Jill? Everybody that used to be nice to me, they just wore me out. I couldn't say anything that was right. Nothing.
I don't think that's how it
They
went down.
wore
but
me out. They turned. The natives were restless.
That's not how it went down.
It is. And Stefan, he was one of the ones that turned on me.
Yes, I was. I was like, it's not the same. I don't. Where is Jill? Oh, well, she's not. Well, where is she? And then she would just chime in. She's like, I'm here. It's not the same.
That's not the same. It's not the same. No.
Oh,
So
that was fun though for me.
Yeah. I'm just happy they haven't come to my show and say, "Where's
Where's
Jill?
Jill?"
Where's it?"
Well,
I'll be done. Now.
I'm still there. They just don't see me on that one. Okay, well we really have to go.
Yes, we do. We do.
All right. Bye
Well,
everybody.
as usual, we really love all of you. For real. We're not just saying
We're
it.
not just saying that.
That's how we feel. That's how we live. So we love you all, really. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
We're going to, and if I can figure out how to work this stuff. How you work this stuff, Jill? I don't know. How you work this stuff? We'll figure it out how to work this.
Bye, Aaliyah.
We will see you next time. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And we're out.